Yo. This level of cooning is crazy. Oh my God.
Would you say to the president if he were standing here right now?
Mr. President, we campaign for you. We have hope in you. We see hope in you. Please differentiate between good, bad, and evil.
That's a Somali immigrant who...
I would call him a black man, but at this point, I don't think a lot of y'all see yourselves as black, despite the fact that the white people that you want to cater to see your goofy asses as black. That's why they made up the term in the first place, you fucking morons. Like, I can't. They see anybody of African descent as black, and it is disgusting, absolutely disgusting, to see a black man effectively on his fucking knees begging a white supremacist to be kind to him. The fuck? God, the weakness in some of you bitches is annoying to me. Like, I can't.
Voted for President Trump in 2024, but now Trump is demonizing Somalis in America, specifically here in Minnesota.
I don't want him in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want him in our country. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
I got 5 children. My children are no garbage. I campaigned for the president in 20...
You campaigned for a white supremacist in 2024 as an immigrant, when he had mass deportation signs out, when that man literally said, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. You know what's fucked up is that Trump is so racist. I keep forgetting which communities he was targeting. He said that about the Haitians. Now, you as a Somali American probably don't believe that you're in the same boat or the same bucket or the same category as the Haitians in this white supremacist mind. But bitch, you are. They don't like you either. He targeted an immigrant community and said that they were eating animals. He had mass deportation signs up. And in his previous administration, he instituted a Muslim ban. And I'm only saying that based off of the man's name. I am making an inference or an assumption based off of his name. He's likely also Muslim. And you campaigned for him in 2024? When I say disgust.
I actually went out and we reached 50 million people endorsing Trump.
7 days before the election, they've reached 50 million people. I don't know if they've reached 50 million people, but they've reached enough people, obviously.
We went out and we reached 50 million people endorsing Trump 7 days before the election.
What drew you to the president?
Because we believed he was an agent of chaos. We couldn't afford anything back then. There was a fentanyl crisis. There was an issue of affordability. The living standards went down. Crime issues. These are 5 very important things to us. And we believe that Trump would be the solution to it. I've been a Republican
I'm gonna let him finish.
for over 25 years. I'm not going to stop being a Republican. But what I do know is for a fact is we're getting killed out here because people are saying, we told you so.
He says a couple things. We couldn't afford anything back then. This man, via his tariffs, has literally caused the value of the dollar to drop 10%. Everyone in this country is 10% poorer because of him. But the implication via his statement is that somehow things are more affordable now. That is a lie. This man is obviously agent of the Republican Party in some respects. Again, this is another person who has some level of pull. The news isn't just coming to interview random Somalis in fucking Minnesota. This man has some level of pull. So I don't know who he got money from, but somebody paid him. So he might be able to afford things now, but that doesn't mean that things are actually more affordable now, because again, the man caused the value of the dollar to drop 10% by virtue of his tariffs alone. That affects literally everyone in this country and our purchasing power when it comes to buying products, especially companies who has to get products overseas dealing with exchange rates. And if they have to pay more for their products with the exchange rates, what do you think that does to the average consumer? Goofy. Anyway, so he said that. That's obviously a lie. He then went on to speak on the same old Republican talking points about a fentanyl crisis, whatever the fuck he was talking about. Those were obviously Republican talking points. But the fascinating thing he also said was that he was an agent of chaos. Let me watch it again.
What drew you to the president?
Because we believed he was an agent of chaos. We couldn't afford anything back then. There was a fentanyl crisis. There was an issue of affordability. The living standards went down. Crime issues. These are 5 very important things to us. And we believe that Trump would be the solution to it.
5 very important things to us. 5 very important things. The 5 things were:
we couldn't afford anything back then. There was a fentanyl
affordability 1.
Crisis. There was an issue of
fentanyl 2.
Affordability.
Affordability 3.
The living standards went down.
Living standards went down 4.
Crime issues.
Crime issues 5. So those were the 5 most important things to them. And affordability, because he said affordability literally twice. And then he said living standards went down. So that's also affordability. I don't care what we're talking about. That's also the economics of it all. So he voted for him because of the economy. Where have we heard that before? The fentanyl, and I'm guessing that's because of the border. He probably forgot to mention the border, because he said 5 issues, but he probably forgot. And crime. Those are Republican talking points. Then you said that he was an agent of chaos, and that as an agent of chaos, you believed he was going to fix things. You said the 3 things that mattered to you the most, obviously affordability was prime because you mentioned it 3 times. The fentanyl crisis and crime. you believe an agent of chaos was going to solve those problems? I don't know what he means by when he says we're getting killed out here because people are saying I told you so. The people saying I told you so aren't the ones harming you, dear. We're confused because you believed an agent of chaos was going to solve problems. You believed that you held some type of special place in a white supremacist's heart when all of the evidence has shown you that he does not give a fuck about people. And I'm realizing that when it comes to this white supremacy shit, the trick is the tribalism of it all. The trick is to keep other communities separated from each other. Because even though he said that about the Haitian community, that they were eating the dogs and cats, you didn't believe that he would apply that same level of vitriol and lies and outright propaganda towards you, did you? You did not believe that you were the same as the Haitians, and therefore you thought you were special to a fucking white supremacist. Isn't that how they... I gotta do more reading. But I remember conversations in college that effectively, this was how the colonizers were able to colonize Africa. Well, you have a lot of different ethnic groups, like thousands of different languages, right? And not everybody, got along or whatever. Some groups had more money, had more status, had more protection because they had like a formal government and a standing military, so they could protect their people more or make more demands of the European colonizers, at least in the interim. But there were other groups that were smaller that didn't have protection. And it was effectively, they were able to like triangulate you against each other. There was a lot of that went down. It's like they made use of the fact that you guys were arguing with each other and you didn't see yourselves as the same, even though they didn't give a fuck about you. They looked at all of you as the same. They didn't care. And because of that, they were able to triangulate you against each other and effectively start picking you off one by one. So even though you had larger, more established governments in these areas, once they started picking off the smaller entities and consolidating control for themselves, what the fuck were you going to do? Y'all still doing the same shit today, huh? This is fascinating. And then the sick part about it is that y'all actually have history to draw on when it comes to how these, they're Muslim because I see that lady in the background. Y'all actually have a history to draw upon when it comes to understanding white people because you know how they acted and how they treated you on the continent. And in spite of that, you still think these white people care about you? Man, son, the delusions. And in regards to the we told you so comment, the reason why I cannot align with y'all is because you align with white supremacy. And as a result, you're dangerous to us. I'm sorry, I don't care. You're very dangerous to us. And you cannot be trusted. I don't want anything bad to happen to people, but I also understand that those of us who understand what white supremacy is, we cannot allow in or give refuge to people like this man, because he will sell us down the river. When a man like Donald Trump can show you blatantly over and over again who he is and how he is a virulent racist, and you still choose to align with him, in my opinion, you can't be trusted. You know how we all have lessons to learn, and that maybe if a person kind of like goes through the fire, they evolve and they change. And I do wish that for people. It's unfortunate that this has to be the fire that we all have to go through, but I do wish that people would grow and evolve and change and be better from this. But at the same time, I don't know if I could ever trust anybody who didn't have the presence of mind beforehand to see that man for who he was. I don't know if I can trust you even after you may have gone through the evolution. And I'm being very honest when I say that, because this was so clear. Like, I don't believe in like a God in the traditional sense, but if there's something out there that was trying to get us to like figure something out, it was almost like they were like, hey, I'm going to make this as easy as possible. Here you go. And for whatever reason, well, the reason was you are ego-driven. You only care about yourselves, supposedly. At least you supposedly only care about other Somalis. I don't even know if you really care about them, to be honest with you. But you're ego-driven, you're insanely selfish, and as a result, that is why you align with white supremacy so easily. And you guys just completely fucked up. It was literally a road given to you that was paved and had like signs and shit and lights. And then the other road was like unpaved, covered in sticks and mud and no lights, just dark as hell. And y'all were like, you know what? We're gonna take the road less traveled. Man, y'all took that Robert Frost poem to heart. It was so easy, right? Because one of his arguments was that he didn't like the increase in crime. So God was like, I'm going to make this so easy for you. I'm going to make him a felon. And you still voted for a criminal who's an agent of chaos to solve crime? At this point, I honestly think a lot of y'all just got paid off. And you're probably realizing they didn't pay you enough. Because how can you say you are against crime? It's one of the 3 issues you're most concerned about, but then vote for a criminal. And the other reason why we can't trust you is because you're obviously lying about something. Because your rationale makes no sense. You care about affordability and fentanyl and crime go together, but you decided to vote for the person that you described as an agent of chaos who was a felon, and you wanted to put the agent of chaos who was also a criminal in the White House? Do you see how that makes absolutely no fucking sense? Do you understand that? So because it's so illogical, there has to be something else at play, And I think it's money. They paid you money. Is the money running out? Is that why you're on the news now? Something else is afoot.